a minute or two.
Sure, absolutely. How are you doing, John? It's been a
I'm
long
doing
time.
well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm so I don't know if it's recording. Okay. We are at GovAI Coalition Summit in California.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, was talking to a lot of people, and it's just so fascinating how AI is moving and so fast with local government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so City of San Jose has launched few permitting applications and a lot of improvement on AI in general. So I was part of a panel discussion yesterday. So yeah, it's just a lot going on. Let's
Oh,
put it this
good.
way. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI is definitely the flavor of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It really yeah, it depends how you embracing it. Like, is it and
Yes.
the right product, the right services, and the light is not going good here.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good to go, John. Everybody's in from the waiting room
Okay.
right now.
Good morning, Mike.
Okay. It looks like we're ready to go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to NJ GMIS coffee event. This morning we have Ignatiuz that's going to be speaking to us. They're going to be, and the presenter will be Himanshu Goyal, and he's going to have a co-presenter, a woman named Amanda. Um, and what they're going to speak to us this morning about is AI civic agents and how these civic agents, and this is important, how these civic agents can enable staff to perform their mission more efficiently and effectively, not necessarily replace. And that's a common concern with AI is that if AI is implemented in my organization, will result in my replacement. I say this and then UPS, Google, and others make liars out of me because they're having staff reductions in the thousands as a result of improvements they have done. However, that's not what we're about here this morning. We're about AI and how AI could make your operation more efficient. Uh, Hamachu's going to speak specifically about civic agents, and hopefully I'm not misquoting these, I call them chatbots that can be put in place and help with towns and municipalities and counties with permitting and applications for a variety of different things and services throughout a county, a municipality, or a town. So with that, let me turn this presentation over to Hamachu and Amanda and enjoy. And if anybody has, before I go, if anybody has any questions, use the reaction button and raise your hand, and I'll see them come up and I'll get to you as quickly as I can. Thanks. Go ahead,
Great.
Hamachu, I'm sorry.
Great. That's great. Thank you so much, John, for such a nice introduction. And you rightly mentioned about these AI agents. And we have been talking about these chatbots, but now what we are seeing in general in local government that these agents have gone beyond chatbots, where you can have some autonomous capabilities. You can perform certain meaningful tasks, and we will see in some of the presentation demos today how we are empowering officials to do or get more efficient with these AI agents. Along with me, I have Amanda Ko and Mike. I saw Mike Senzels from Arlington Analytics as well joining in. And but with that being said, I'll share
Sure.
my screen and yeah, and yes, let me share my screen. Um, Let me know if you are able to see my screen and
Yeah, we can see.
great.
We can see that.
All right. So Great. So today's session is about the rise of AI in modern public service. And these are purposeful built civic agents. And we will see today how we transition from chat GPT type of usage or a generative contextual usage to how to build these agents which can help in public service. Quick background, we are partnered with Insight, and I saw Dana just pinged, and she is in the webinar as well. We work with Insight on NASPO Value Point and Omnia contracts. We are part of GovAI Coalition, Monday certified partner, and been since the inception, we partnered with Microsoft. Quick update on me. I'm Himanshu Goyal, founder and CEO for Ignatiuz Inc. Ignatiuz has been in business for last 12 years, working with local government and public sector for last 10 years or so. Tech for Gov is an initiative formed by Ignatiuz, and we launched earlier this year. And Tech for Gov is the mission is simple to bring to keep AI simple for local government and efficient. If any one of you want to talk, contact me, please scan the QR code. It will take you to my LinkedIn profile. While we're talking about giving this little background about myself, I started one of my companies I started was Scout Photo. Scout Photo was launched in 2013, and TechCrunch was big at that point of time. And what we did with Scout Photo was to do a facial recognition using the 7 face points and map it with your bib number while you're running the race. Very similar to this. And this is, I'm talking about 2012, 2013 timeframe. Selfie cameras was not so common. And we called it as a facial recognition utilizing OpenCV algorithms. And what now people to talk about is visual intelligence. So I did not know back in 2013, 2012 that I was working on AI and while working upon this platform. Another quick, how many of you think that AI is existential threat or exponential opportunity? Any quick poll? How many of you think that AI is an existential threat or it's an exponential opportunity? Real quick, I asked the same question to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT answer was yes. So what I'm trying to say here is that AI is a reflection of what you build out of it. So if you are building a meaningful, purposeful application, which is or trying to solve a work problem or a process which you would like to improve and make it efficient, it can do that for you. If you are trying to be a bad actor, trying to see how can you penetrate from a cyber attack perspective, it can give you some good insight on that as well. So AI is not but just a perspective of how you reflect to it. A quick poll. And I ran this poll on my LinkedIn, on my WhatsApp groups, and some of my client surveys as well, that who should go first in this cross section. There is a fire engine, there is an ambulance, there's a presidential car, there is a police car, and who should go first? Would there be any preference? How many of you think that it would be ambulance? Or how many of you think that would be presidential car? So I did this survey, and the results came out, which was very specific from a geographical region perspective. Everybody believed in a different. And this was this cross-region survey was done across states, across countries, and then ambulance was 50%, fire engine 33%, and we chose this based on the emotions. The ambulance might require immediate help, so perhaps the ambulance should go first. And I posted the same image to ChatGPT and Copilot, Microsoft Copilot as well, to asking what would be the outcome of this. And surprisingly, the answer was that none of these vehicles have emergency lights on, so no one has an automatic priority for this.
Right.
So meaning, these are some examples I'm giving that how if emotions being taken out from the decision-making process, it might help in some cases. So it says that no one should automatically go first. It's first come, first serve, because there is no emergency lights on for any of these vehicles. Quick background on the evolution of OpenAI GPT models. This is where with ChatGPT prior to November of 2022, we were not talking about AI. The AI has been around for many, many decades. Data scientists have been working upon harmonizing this data. We had a webinar a few months back with GMIS talking about how to harmonize your data, get ready for AI, and that has been happening for decades in weather department, maybe for 3 decades in NASA, and they have been utilizing artificial intelligence in some shape or form. But artificial intelligence became part of dining room discussion from a boardroom discussion after ChatGPT launch. Everybody saw the potential in how a generative content can be built, how these RAG agents are helping to gain productivity, generate memos, generate emails. And John, you rightly mentioned these are chatbots, and you can actually had some meaningful conversation with these. And now things have evolved. You can generate images, you can generate videos, and I was just reading an article. There are people who generating the entire TV series, Netflix series is being built over AI. So that high potential, less barrier to entry has been evolved. And as of the latest, we have this GPT-5, which is what launched early 2025. And there is a lot going on in terms of the new model building. And this is, I'm just talking about OpenAI. We have Perplexity, Gemini. There is so much more. Quick evaluation, since we are Microsoft partner, our product line is completely on Microsoft Azure. Just wanted to give a quick evaluation on how Microsoft Copilot came into the mix. And I asked this question, I take these sessions quite a bit, and I asked these questions in my other sessions also. And to the most part, folks thinks that the Copilot came along about the same time, 2022, maybe 2019, 2020. But the fact is that Copilot was launched in 2015. And it was early branding of Copilot, and Microsoft was in the bandwagon to build this FAQ-driven chatbots and ensuring that Copilot becomes an add-on or assistant to anybody who uses Office applications. And then things evolved. Microsoft made a partnership with OpenAI, and then when GPT model came into Copilot, that's when the real magic starts happening in terms of more and more evaluation and utilization of these Copilots. And here we are, till 2024, Copilot was always one step behind in ChatGPT. Whatever model ChatGPT would launch, there would be a version or two older for Copilot. Earlier this year, Microsoft came with Copilot along with ChatGPT 5, which is where the another boost happened for Copilot adoption. Any questions so far? Is it getting too basic? You see the way where I'm headed in terms of RAG model, and we'll talk about agentic RAG. I just wanted to clear some grounds, and then we get into some of these demos.
If anybody has any questions, as I said, raise your hand and I'll get to you and present them to Ignatiuz, and we'll go from there.
Sorry,
I don't
yeah.
see any Ignatiuz, so.
Oh, great. Sure,
Thanks.
John. Yeah. So yeah, we are in Amanda and I in California, as I was sharing earlier, and I'm just sitting in the hotel lobby. So it's early in the morning here, 6 o'clock. So yeah, if it is something, yeah, please feel free to raise a hand. I'm just having a single screen. So I believe to the most part, you may know already what are the RAG models, but I just give you a quick brief, and then we can move on to agentic RAG models. So typical RAG model, user asks a question, LLM does smart search, and based on the search, the query goes to the data lake, this huge data lake, and you get relevant information back. This is what ChatGPT is doing. You get this LLM question along with the relevant information, which actually enriched the answer. It's slightly different than how we have done traditionally with our Google searches. And Google search is more of a keyword driven, and in this search, you are actually enriching the response. So when ChatGPT or OpenAI came with this RAG model, that's when the entire AI conversation started. And people thought that, okay, now we can actually talk to the data. Now we can actually build a meaningful response. Now it has a context which it saves. But what we are seeing now in marketplace, RAG models were great, and they're still great, and they continue to enhance further. But what we are seeing of late in last year or so, that a lot of agentic talks are happening, meaning you are building agentic RAG agents now. What this agentic model does is that instead of user asking question, doing LLM smart search or a large language model or a small language model, you are actually now agents is breaking down into simpler tasks, talking to multiple line of business applications, perhaps talking to or connecting with different file systems, different applications for finance or taxes. And then based on different APIs and how you connect with these systems. And there could be a separate workflow where you require certain additional permissions. Traditionally, we have built this system which have role-based access. So you have a specific role and you get access to it. But now we are seeing more and more relationship-based access. So your role is still, you are a text collector, but then your relationship with the data from a data and the attributes perspective is slightly different. So you get an access based on the relationship also. What happens? You actually validating the responses coming in. You are building the response in a similar way that the answers are getting enriched, but you are getting a more contextual responses back, and there is a follow through to it. So now agents are evaluating the responses getting generated and asking you follow-up question that, okay, you are looking for a trip to Hawaii. Would you like me to book an Airbnb for you? So that's where the more and more power coming to these RAG agents, which is now becoming more and more agentic. So now coming to a point, what are civic agents? And this was just sort of, I was trying to share some background and what we are doing. And now, what are these civic agents? Are these AI-powered teammates? Can I have an AI agent which is sitting on my Microsoft Teams and I can have a conversation as if it's a real person? Maybe this team agent is a cybersecurity expert or a vulnerability scanning expert and talking about vulnerability logs or sharing me some updates on how I can improve with my security network. Or are these permitting workflow agents where as soon as the application gets submitted, the compliance check happens autonomously and provide you meaningful insight in terms of, okay, this is what is being submitted, this is the ECC code, this is a safety guideline, and now you can actually either approve or reject. But based on this application, there have been multiple of these previous applications which were aligned, and you could actually approve this application, or you need a planning commissioner to revisit this. So civic agents, what these civic agents are doing, these are not a financial ERP system for municipal government. These are the civic agents which actually work on top of your existing line of business applications and improvise subtle things so that your work life gets easier. And for this civic agent, I have filed a patent last year, 2 years back now. It's called IGNA. This is Intelligent Governance for Next Generation Autonomy. So it's the principle of this IGNA framework is that you define the AI policy first, you build the guardrails and guiding principles first, and then you start building agents on top of this framework. So which we call IGNA.
Himanshu, if you don't mind, I'll jump in here for a minute.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda. Sorry, I was struggling with my internet to join earlier. I would have introduced myself. But as Himanshu mentioned, we're in California right now at the Gov AI Summit. And speaking to this, Himanshu had the opportunity to sit on a panel to speak about how we actually move pilot into scalable future. Like, how do you move these agents from just the pilot phase to actually make them work for you? And I think these civic agents speak to that perfectly. So it's been really great hearing government officials talk about how mindful they are, how they aren't moving as quickly as the private sector, because safety, privacy, security is top of mind for their residents. And so, Himanshu, I just wanted to say again that these are things and agents that we create to plug into what you're using to make it more efficient and for you to be able to do your job better and help your residents, live in a more efficient way and get in contact with you and with the city and whatever they need to do. So I didn't mean to interrupt, but if you have any other
Sure.
questions, I'll be monitoring the chat. So drop them there as well.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. I think, and I know Mike is in the audience as well, and he gives a very good analogy for this, that with government, we cannot experiment with tech dollars. We have to fail fast and try it out, and then when the solutions and products are ready, that's when you bring to a public sector. But why you should care for government, for why we should care for civic agents, and why this is so important now. This is not just government responsibilities, and we are talking a lot about this. This is a cultural shift. There is a lot of learning curve which happens. These agents are not something which you deploy and they just start working right away. There would be a evaluation journey. There is we consider them as a interns on steroid who has come from a good academic background but still require coaching and learning. So that's where that you will see the true magic coming out of this, and it is not just a government problem. This is constituents, businesses also needs to understand and kind of start embracing this change, and that's where the real value will bring. So now, and you mentioned earlier in the introduction also, John, about the chatbot. So I'll just give that context to get a few things aligned here. So for example, now this is a typical chat GPT or Copilot. And this is a generative RAG model where the user is asking a prompt to large language model, and this model is responding. And we saw how the response happens, how the enrichment of answer happens. Then you connect this with your specific website, a specific data source. In the panel, one of the speaker mentioned about how they're utilizing for their policies and procedures. So there is this large data in terms of PDFs and files in a file server. They would like to, instead of going through with that for the new onboarding or certain specific rules and regulations and now around the employment, you just have a conversation with it, and that's where you can have a tiny little RAG chatbot talking to this data source, but along with the governance and controls in place, so that data is not going outside of the agency. And at the same time, you can see what AI was asked for and how AI responded. So you have complete a RAG model with a guardrail around it. In New Jersey state, we have this Danish law, so you should be able to redact certain names based on the Danish law if there's a privacy information which you do not want to be participating in the chat. So you can do that. Now, what happens next is where we start building some of these IGNA insight agents, what we call. Insight is an agent which, again, setting on that IGNA framework, which I described a few minutes back, and it can connect with your custom applications. And what that custom application looks like, it can be your while it is connecting with custom data source, this agent has its own memory, so it's remembering the content, that the context of the topic. So you connect with these different tools. It could be Microsoft SharePoint, it could be Microsoft OneDrive, Microsoft Teams, or MSI, or SDL permit portal. And SDL has all the data sitting in their data store. We could connect with the APIs and get some of the information which you could actually leverage from your decision-making process. Or it could be GovPilot. So any of these tools can, who has these API capabilities, it can connect with these agents. And now you have a RAG model under your governance and talking to your own data. So now you are not doing this chat GPT or a chatbot just with the random globally available data. Now what happens next is, now you have set up this agent. There is an insight agent, and we have quite a bit of examples here. And a lot of towns and boroughs, smaller towns as well, are utilizing this in New Jersey state. And where we have built a system where this connects with your Mod4 data. And now your tax collectors can have a meaningful conversation instead of going over with those large documentation with this a Mod4 data, or a tax application which is actually written in COBOL. The data is very old, and this is, believe it or not, is still being used at the town. We have a few deployments where we are talking to some really legacy application, and this agent is now modernizing that behavior. But what goes next is where now you are having an agent which has a memory, which understand the protocol, understand the models, and got connected with distant applications. Now you can actually have an agent which just sits on the top of that application. I'm giving an example here for MSI that you get an agent which understands or becomes a subject matter expert of MSI. Now you can have not just a conversation here. Now this agent is autonomously running behind the scenes. You do not have visibility from perspective what topic is this agent is covering, but this agent has a solid topic or a KRA. We call it topic in agent world, but key responsibilities for this agent to perform. And once those KRA are complete, then this agent will report back to human that this is how I have done this. Or same thing with Microsoft ecosystem. Same thing with other application what local government uses. Now, this is all we're talking about retrieving. We are still gathering information from these agents. But as soon as you start writing back to the agents, so now these agents are actually writing back information to these different line of business applications. And that is where you go beyond chatbots to becoming a truly a frontier government utilizing next-gen civic agents. This is this and Amanda mentioned about the scalability, and we are talking a lot about this, that it's easy to start with a pilot, doing a chatbot, doing this FAQ, low hanging fruit, and then continue to scale as you are seeing more and more efficiencies. But the true magic happens when you have these civic agents who are actually writing back also. Would it happen soon, or would it be something which is going to take a while, because you have to start adopting AI agents first to get to a confidence that now my agent can actually write back? Any questions or before we jump on the demo?
No, Himanshu, you do make a good point, though. I love that you continue to just talk about security and how we want to make sure that this is right before you scale. So you're going to teach it, make sure it's doing exactly what you want to address these pain points, and then grow from there. In the public sector, you guys are very mindful of doing the right thing deliberately and intentionally, and I think that this showcases that very well.
Yeah, Himanshu, I'll comment a little bit on the, you do a great job. By the way, I'm Mike Stanzilis from Arlington Analytics. And I partner with Ignatiuz on a lot of projects. The agentic model. So John, you mentioned chatbots are kind of like agents. Right now, the candle versus the light bulb conversation is happening where the chatbot's the candle and the agent is the light bulb. And you can go back in time and look at a million examples like that. So there's the chatbot is an easy, low-hanging fruit for all of us to get a taste of how this is going to work. But as Himanshu continues to say, scaling up to the agentic model is a massive leap. To do that, I would say, Himanshu, you may get to the BYO AI conversation, which we have all the time. As we travel around the state, we see a lot of towns and counties bringing their own AI. Somebody in the IT department is experimenting with a large language model, developing an internal chatbot. And, I think the value of bringing in somebody from the outside can't be understated because of the experience and this frontier ability. It's changing every day. You can't expect an IT department to keep up with the speed of the change. And, Himanshu did briefly allude to the fact that as government officials, you are stewards of the taxpayers' hard-earned money. And you can't afford to experiment with that with BYO AI, but companies like Arlington Analytics and Ignatiuz, that's what we do. We can try 100 different things, fail fast at 98 of those, and bring those two great ideas to the government sector. But I just want to, I'll close it out with saying we're at the candle versus the light bulb point in time right now with chatbots becoming agents, and agents, you know, a chatbot is rules-based. An agent, the word agent has agency in it. So the agent has agency over itself with guardrails. So thank you. Himanshu, back to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mike, for bringing
Just
that
to
up.
add to what, yeah, this is John Tugman, Himanshu.
Yes,
To add to
sure.
what Mike was talking about,
Right.
requirement came up here in the county where a company, Granicus, and this is not an endorsement of that company, came to us with a capability they have to improve customer service. Essentially, it's a chatbot or an agent that they would add to the product that could respond to questions, etc. I ran that by my Office of Temporary Assistance. Now, they deal with a vulnerable sector of the community. Their concern was, are the guardrails sufficient in that LLM to handle calls that they receive regularly where people want to commit suicide or do harm to themselves? They were concerned the guardrails and protections built into the LLM were not sufficient to handle those kinds of calls that their people receive on a regular basis and have to direct correctly, either to professional help or otherwise. So that was a concern they had, which I understand, and we went back to, in this case, Granicus, with that concern. They're looking at that and they're going to hopefully come back with some kind of response to that kind of concern. Similarly, you know, as we're talking about, you know, bring your own AI or DIY AI, we're experimenting here in the county with a chatbot for our help desk. I sit here in my office, I can hear a technician answer calls all day, a lot of calls about how do I turn off my laptop? Oh, well, you got to hold the power button down for a couple seconds. A chatbot could easily respond to those kinds of questions. The thing I'm interested in learning there, aside from putting a chatbot in place, and the employee I'm talking about is very concerned because they're concerned the chatbot will put them out of a job. I assured them that that's not going to happen. But in any case, I'm interested in seeing, you know, how well it's received. I may get complaints from the community that, oh, I rather talk to one of my staff members named Dina. She's a friendly person. I rather talk to her than this robot, so to speak. You know, I'm interested in learning if that's going to be the case, if the general feeling of the community is that I don't want to talk to an AI agent, I don't want to talk to a robot, I want to talk to a person. I have this, and I'm in the business, so I have this problem as well. I don't want to talk to a damn robot. I want to talk to a person. I got something I need fixed, and I need to talk through it. Be that as it may, we'll find out how well the community accepts the chatbot. But back to the one with the vulnerable society, et cetera. I don't know what the answer is to that. We're experimenting, as I said, on a technical level with a chatbot. And, you know, we have questions in there that it can't answer. And we have it refer those people to technical support or call the help desk for additional help. So this one's going to keep coming up again and again about, you know, the vulnerable sector of our society and how do we effectively direct those people so they don't harm themselves or otherwise. You know, as we know, there is a case already where a young man, I believe, asked ChatGPT,
GPT.
thank you, how do I make a hangman's noose, and the young man made the hangman's noose, and then asked the AI agent, I'd like to, or told the AI agent, I'd like to display it in my closet. I'm going to hang it up. And the agent advised him not to do that. The concern there is that because of that agent, this young man committed suicide. We'll see where the courts, et cetera, go on this particular case. It'll be interesting to see how this is handled, but well, I can see where things like that could happen. And similarly, the chatbot we're doing, we asked it, I would like to kill myself or whatever, to see how it responded. And, to those kinds of direct questions that are direct concerns, it responds, contact the help desk or contact this number for additional advice. So, that's something, now that we have AI and it's becoming more prevalent, we're all going to have to think about and figure out how are we going to deal with those kinds of situations and concerns that are real life and are going to come up on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think you're making very valid points, John, and we are seeing this growing concern everywhere. And Amanda, I'm missing the name of the person we talked where they are using this chatbot and they are not very happy, and the frustration is growing between the constituencies. And regarding this, that they would like to talk to the real person. They don't believe in these chatbots. They do not want to have conversation. They do not want to press 0 for English or 1 for Espanol. They want to just talk to the right person. And John, you will see in some of the demos what I have, but let me pull up. And while we were talking, and you mentioned a good point, and I just did a quick test as well. Let me share my screen again. So this chatbot is being deployed on oops, you see my screen, on Southtown River Borough. And I just gave this example because this is little borough, Jersey Shore town, and I just, while you were talking about it, I just added this, how can I kill myself? I mean, yeah, so it won't respond, just to show you that, there are certain guardrails in place. And what this does is that we have one of the agent is Igna Hub. What it does is that Hub is actually monitoring each and every session. And this is the live screenshots from Bethlehem Township, another smaller town in New Jersey. And each and every session is being recorded. And while you are talking to other firms, I won't give examples about, I mean, all these companies are great. Glennick being around for last, 3 decades now, 2 decades. I mean, so great companies, they have built great business models, great product they have. But again, when you're talking to any of these companies who are now mushrooming AI because AI is the trend, we have to ensure that you get all the information, what they're going to do with the data. For example, are you capturing, what are the guardrails? Are you capturing all the user sessions? And bigger firms, I mean, some large tech giants are not able to provide these kind of information. So what is the session ID? What is the message count? How many tokens I'm being sent out? What are the people asking and how my chat agent is responding back? Is any of these responses or conversation has certain keywords which should not be there? Is there anybody comparing my town mayor with Hitler? So those type of questions, and whenever you are screening these technology vendors, we should get that information. So in this case, for example, here you get the chat history. Here you get to see who are the user who has access to this. This is a data source where you are connected with, so you know where is my data now. When is this my website, my data is getting crawled, how I'm building this vector database. So this is in your hand. This is not something where somebody is putting the light bulb and you don't know even how this bulb is built. More so, Daniel's law. So how we are redacting certain information. What is so if you see here, we have this Daniel configuration for the Daniel law, where you can add those names, those specific personal information where you can we can redact that. Same thing in California, we're seeing a lot of PII information needs to be redacted. You can put the block and lot in, but you cannot show who the owner and what is the email address. So things of that nature, not just from a constituent perspective, but also for internal users as well. So staff needs to have a limited access. So this type of visibility, this is what we bring as a part of GovAI Coalition, because, and this is the policy making which we are building this thing together. And so this gives you at least a little bit of comfort on what you are seeing out there. You do not want to be making a headline for utilizing AI. We heard yesterday that one of the gentlemen in Tokyo is recently married with an AI agent, and he actually filed a marriage paper, and he got married to a large language model. Now, what to do with that? So you definitely don't want to make those headlines. But at the same time, if you do not embrace what AI has to offer, there would be a possibility that it would be lagged behind. So just sharing that this is how you can actually do a better logging and then put the guardrails in. Now
Yeah.
coming back to
Just to jump in
yeah.
quickly, Himanshu,
Yeah.
I think just to add to your point, the most important letter of that acronym, IGNA, is that governance and keeping the human, involved in this process and making sure that those guardrails are serving your residents and doing exactly what it needs to do. We were speaking with a planning technician in Walnut Creek, and his main concern was they have a lot of older residents, and engaging with an AI chatbot or an AI voice, like what does that actually look like? Are they just going to get frustrated? But he was really, really interested and excited to learn more when we showed that there was 40% less foot traffic coming into City Hall, and it shows that there's a success rate, that people are engaging, and it's not just that they're running into a chatbot wall, like, oh, I'm just talking to a computer, That once it's set up properly and executed and deployed, that residents are actually engaging with it, and it's working. So back to you,
Great.
Himanshu.
Yep. Thank you.
Himanshu, it's Dana. Can I say a couple of
Yes.
things real quick?
Sure, Dana.
Good morning, everyone. Dana with Insight. As you all know me, I know you, most of you. This is a great conversation that we're having here, because what we're doing with Ignatiuz and Tech for Gov is really being accepted by a lot of municipalities. But we also understand the importance, like Amanda just said, the governance, keeping the people involved, the citizens, the employees, not making them scared of losing their job, but letting them truly understand the value. And this is where the ROI comes in, is it's going to free them up more time to be the employees to be involved with community and their job, as opposed to doing repetitive tasks over and over again. So you use AI for automation to help with things like reporting or pulling documents, filing permits. And I get it. People want to speak with Dina. I do too. When I make phone calls, I want to talk to somebody. But there's times, especially with as busy as we've been, Himanshu, right, like they're in California right now. Look at the time. Him and I were on at 4 a.m. this morning. So there's times that I need to do things that isn't during business hours, that if it could be automated and I need a dog permit for the town and I only have till Monday and it's Friday and I forgot and didn't set a reminder, I need to do that real quick. So that's where it works. But we also understand for every municipality, you're going to have similar needs, but you're going to have needs that need to be customized. And that's why this is a solution that is working. However, there's so many more parts to this. So I sent out a survey through GMIS to the members asking, where are you in your AI plan? Are you there? What questions do you have? And believe it or not, because it's gone from just being talked about over the past 36 months to now starting to come to fruition. But here's the concern: is our data safe? So we're having an event on November 19th. We're going to do your luncheon, and then we're going to do a cocktail party. We're going to have Lenovo, NetApp, Insight, Ignatiuz, where you guys can ask all these questions. Security is a concern. AI devices are a concern. ROI, we need to have the ROI discussion. We also need to have the discussion, where are you getting the money for this? So just so you know, I've already reached out to New Jersey Economic Development Authority grants program for AI. I'm hoping to have them join us and speak about the different grants and funding that there is available for New Jersey municipalities and government. So these are things that we're not at the point where we're just looking to sell you something. We're really looking to engage with you, become part of your team, and roadmap this from beginning to end in all stages. And that's what I wanted to say. And we really hope you could join us on the 19th.
That's great. Yeah. No, thank you, Dana. Thank you for bringing that perspective. And yes, I think that conversation on 19th, I'm really looking forward to it because there is a lot. And as you mentioned about these grants, there is a similar grant being held at California as well. A lot of states are coming up with this. How can counties and local government can actually experiment with AI? So, and yeah, and the possibilities are endless. And the more I'm visiting these conferences and meeting these people, everybody is in the similar zone. They were in the zone where what will happen to my job 2 years back. Now people are in the zone that whatever we adopt now is going to be there for generations to come. This is not something which would be like, okay, for a few years, or it is something which going to change how we work. It will be change how the culture is being built over last decades for from a work environment perspective. But now, quickly jumping on a demo, I won't or yeah, John, you tell me. I'm liking this conversation, but you tell me if you want to see some of these chat demos. Very specific. Let me share the screen. So the chatbot, what we have, works with multilingual. There are a lot of now other tools are also out there who has these capabilities. Let me share my screen. So yeah, so this is where multilingual chatbot, you don't have to change any content from the website perspective. It remains in English. Now you can change and we have about 12 languages right now, Haitian, Creole, Italian, Japanese. You could actually, and then there are about 72 more languages in the roadmap. We are seeing growing interest of this. And as we are monitoring the logs in the chat history and ensuring that it is the guardrails are being established, we are seeing that a lot of Tagalog audience, Spanish audience who are interacting with these chat agents in that form. Now, some of these guardrails I showed you, there is a voice agent where you can actually talk with a voice, just like how you do in ChatGPT or Copilot now. Microsoft Copilot launched last week a voice capabilities where now you can talk to Copilot and see your calendar, book your meetings. And now moving on autonomous agents, we discussed how we can bring more value to these agents. I'll show you one quick example. And this is so it's slightly difficult to show how autonomous agent works in terms of, because there is no user interface to it. So I built a small demo to show you that how it can happen behind the scenes. We are working upon this marketing collateral, and I'll share videos later on. But here, this system, this agent is a finance surveillance agent. It sits on top of your finance application. It could be your MSI, it could be admins. And as analysts are entering the line items in the system, this particular agent will monitor line items and check for gap analysis or any threshold being passed and whatnot, and then provide a summary report back to Treasury or CFO in some instances, so that before it goes for auditing, this agent will already have a summary for you. Now, let me show you this, how it will work. And I'm just giving this example from it's a CSV finance data, and then you will see how it does the analysis. But right now it's happening on a mouse click, but this actually happens behind the scene. And this is a agent who's performing this job. So agent saw that, okay, there is a 701 transactions, there is a anomaly rate of 6.1%. And then there is and now as a treasury, I can just go back and see, okay, what happened on transaction ID 33796. Laura Lowe has the score of 3 out of 10. It looks like the threshold was 10,000. This line item, I'm just making it up for a sheriff car lease. And this lease has historically has been 10,000. How come this year it became 18,436? Or this month, how come the threshold has been passed by 8,436? So now you can actually go back and see, okay, this is correct because now this is a new expense. And then now the model will learn that, okay, next time if something similar line item comes in, the new price point is 18,000 instead of what it was recorded earlier. Then there's a round amount, or so you get these kind of anomalies listed. Now you are training this model that these are not anomalies. This is a new changes in the system, and next time do not repeat me this. So the next day when you get this transaction report, you won't see those type of records. So now this autonomous agent sitting on your network behind the scenes, working as a semi auditor, auditing your transactions, and without any human interference, and getting you the reports back. But not, and now you can make two things. You can ask this agent to update or correct, because I made a mistake. I added additional zero, and it should not be 120,000. It should be whatever 10,000 instead. So, and this agent can actually write back. So my Civic Agent slide, if you remember, the last portion was how we can actually utilize this agents to write back into the system. Not many, to be very honest, not many agencies are ready to do that. They are still would like to have a human intervention, so that human stays in the loop, which is all right, because you need to build the confidence. And we do the same thing with a new hire also. We do not allow a new hire to write a code in production. We ensure that there is a change process in the middle, and somebody's approving those approvals, those deployments. So you could utilize agent to write back, or you can have a quality control there that agent will report to me and I'll review it. And if I like it, then I'll manually make sure that the transaction is being corrected. So this is one of the example for autonomous agent. Any questions? So I have a few more examples, but before that, I wanted to just give a quick roundabout. Like, so we had a chat agent, we had a finance surveillance agent, which is an autonomous agent. So journey to frontier government, and this is a slide I took it from Microsoft Frontier Firm Work Trend Index. So what Microsoft has published that, okay, the first phase will always be human with assistant. And Mike recently just mentioned very rightly about this, that these chatbots, FAQ-driven chatbots, are something which is very easily and very conveniently can be enabled. So everyone employee has an AI assistant that helps them work better and faster. And John, you also mentioned that this can be your help desk agent, perhaps, where you could have just a chatbot. The phase two, this is where you are building multiple of these agents. These agents are not fully autonomous. These agents are still mix of your chatbots, mix of your generative content, where they are writing memos for you, perhaps scheduling meetings, doing some of the work in terms of bringing large group together with the different time zones and how we can set up a meeting. So some of those mundane tasks can be performed as well with these agents. So now these agents are joining team as a digital colleague. We call them like a digital colleague, which will have a specific task to perform, and they will perform that task and bring a report back to you. So this human is actually involved in working with these digital colleagues. Now the phase three, that is where the next Civic agent would bring value. And that's where you will see a true ROI. Till phase two, you are seeing more of efficiency gains. Yes, 40% time being saved, 20% time being saved. But when you come to the phase three, where human led but agent operated, so I'm just giving instructions to my team that, okay, this is, and this team is AI agent, that, okay, this is what you have to execute once these processes are complete, once your annual finance statement AFS is ready, based on these last 5 years of data, what you have, and show me the report, and just come back to me when it is ready. And this agent will go and connect with different line of business applications and bring you the report back. So that's where the phase three will evolve. Any questions on this so far? So where these civic agents work, local government, yes, schools, hospitals, we are seeing a lot of adoption in wastewater authority. Even nonprofits. We are working with some of the nonprofits wherever there is a lack of staff, and smaller organization, they are taking more leverage of AI in this current dynamics. We are seeing more and more adoption where we have lack of the staff hours, or there is a turnover for some reasons, and then we could leverage more and more these civic agents. I quickly do one more demo so that another, this is more of a autonomous agent which is sitting on top of a construction permit application. And what it does is that as in when you submit the construction permit application, this goes back and look into the compliance and provide you a meaningful insight about the comparison of this specific application from the previously submitted application, or how um, how AI can check not just from your local government audiences or township audience or county audience, but check the E-code, state guidelines and everything. Let me share my screen. Sorry, I'm jumping on these demos because I wanted to share some capabilities on how autonomous agents are working and not really just staying on the chatbot side of things. So here, this is so this is a construction permit application, and I'm sure most of you have already seen this, like in terms of how a lot of companies out there who have these products where you could actually write an application. And so this is an application you are submitting as a realtor and or a builder, and doing this is for a remodeling of a building, and submitting all the guideline group classifications. And I quickly run through this. It's very typical. Many of the products are out there who can perform this. You submit the owner name. This is property totally going to use residence and non-commercial use. You put all of that, add building, add plumbing, electric information. And once you submit this application, you put all the estimations and cost of work, building subcode. And this is very tedious operation in local government, what I have heard or received a feedback about. And once this is all complete, it takes anywhere between, I don't know, a month, 2 months. And I was told in some of these towns, like 3-4 months to get an approval. And just because of the governing body meetings and the way the certain calendar being scheduled, there's a lot involved. And this is not just one-click approvals. So now, and in one of the town, there was a concern that somebody submitted an application and for a pool, and it was a shore town, so there is a different audience. Township had passed this audience for 58-inch of fence instead of what county has, about 60-inch of fence, and that variance was not being included. And this resident has already moved on and hired the contractor to build out. And so it created a lot of problems. So what this AI agent is doing now, it will check all of this, that form is being filled appropriately. It will perform behind the scenes the compliance check all the audiences available, and matches this particular application with any of the past applications being submitted. Combine those together and do a comparative analysis that, okay, so this application is submitted successfully. And while this is happening, the fees are being paid. When this is happening, there is no, the resident constituent doesn't know that this is AI-based application, which is actually going to check my compliance check. But as soon as goes to, as soon as this guy here, as soon as goes to the L1 review, which is meaning now the planning commission got this application, it has already done a compliance review for the entire application. It has already brought in the past application being submitted, and now you are receiving these. There are these 5 applications, similar block, maybe 2 houses down the road or 4 buildings down the road, and this was approved in whatever 2019, and 2023 we had another request which we did not, because of for the oversized lot, for whatever reason which was not approved. And now you have this comparative analysis, you have the complete application, and agent has already provided you the analysis. It becomes so much easier. Are we utilizing agent to approve this application? No. Are we going to gain some efficiency because now planning commissioner or do not have to go back and do all of this analysis by himself or herself? Yes. Is it going to be 100% foolproof? Maybe not. You still need to do your manual due diligence. So that's how you could actually make a lot of these improvements without without getting into this whole agents are not good or agents are not hallucinating a lot and stuff, because this is something which is meaningful, which helps you accelerate the process and reduce frustration in the constituents, or the sentiments gets better. So that's another quick example I wanted to share, that how these autonomous agents can help.
Ignatiuz, I have a question here. Mark, go ahead.
Sorry,
Yeah, here
what
we
is
go.
it?
Here we go. I'm in my car. Hi, Ignatiuz.
Hi.
It's Mark Pfeiffer.
Mark.
You talked a lot about the key capabilities, and from the work I've been doing on this, the capabilities are incredible. But what doesn't get talked about a lot is what goes into training the chatbot and training the RAG on what those rules are and how to do that and what happens in given use cases.
Yes.
You talk a little bit about what's involved in that and how a government agency goes about doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mark, for bringing this question, because again, this is very timely, and there is a lot of ask around it, how to train these models. And once these models are trained, how to continuously retrain them, because it's not just one time when you have to just ingest into the model, and this training has to happen continuously. So let me share my screen, and I can, I have that is actually the right segue to the next slide. So we follow this. This is an example journey, but we follow this 5P framework, simple 5 steps. First, to define the purpose. What is the purpose of this chat agent? Are you connecting with your data which is on a website, or this is your help desk system, or this is your SOPs or PDF? Now, once you identify that purpose and who is the audience for this, is it like more of a inward, meaning you are exposing these agents out to your constituents and businesses, or this is for your employee or staff? Then you identify what is my end goal looks like. Am I talking about I want to take this thing from pilot to production, and in production I would like this to be autonomous agent? Or so we define that purpose first. We identify the use case. Then we do a pilot. While we're doing a pilot, we define how we want this agent to behave. So I give you an example that, okay, I'm a small borough. I would like my agent to ensure that it act as a mayor, as ambassador of the town, always stay polite, always talk with keeping constituents' interest in first, always try to resolve the problem with the right people in the group. So that is I want to set up this agent with that behavior. Now I will train my model, providing all the data, ingest all the vector database there, and then define the context also with how it is being done. You put the guardrails that no matter what, even if you ask same question 100 times, you have to stay polite and you have to stay. So there are certain ways which you can do while you are ingesting data to train the model. Now, and to again, Mark, I know you're very technical, so to be honest, this is not large language model. This is maybe a small language model. We don't need large language model for this type of use case. It may not be required to have a heavy lift in terms of, yes, guardrails are important, but if this is a public domain, then you can get a little loose with the data. I mean, you don't need to really secure the entire data because the data is already in a public domain. If it is internal chatbot, then yes, you have to put all the guardrails. You have to ensure that if it's a financial information, you don't be sharing the PI information of the town, of the constituents. So yeah, you can put those guardrails. But once this model is trained, pilot is ready, you define the playbook, and this is where you write the instruction how the training will happen continuously, how you will deploy this pilot into production, how you're going to scale later on this pilot from just into one department or one specific use case into across the town or across different agencies. How this chatbot, which is being built for a county website, can be utilized by human services or social services department to have meaningful conversation with their data, or in the call center setup. So then you build playbook. From playbook, you define the production roadmap. once it is deployed to production, that is where the real work begins with these AI agents, because you have to continuously monitor the performance, monitor the guardrails which you have put in, because time risk will come and there would be a chances that those guardrails are slipping because somebody forgot that this question can be asked in such a different way. So you will put those guardrails in and then continue to monitor. So that is like how we are following this 5P framework and doing this AI journey for any specific local government. Does that answer your question, Mark?
I think so. And one of the things that I think is worth highlighting is that when a government agency is going to be entering into looking at how you're going to deploy either chatbots, which also will require training, and using agents now to perform individual tasks, there needs to be time and attention spent on that process, and you need to be prepared to deal with that. If you're a more sophisticated organization, you may be able to do some of that yourself if you've got some programming and process people working. But otherwise, and I'm not saying this is a plug, it's just the reality, is that small or medium places are going to have to work with vendors to work on these things. And it's important that the tech person, the person responsible for managing this project, pays the right amount of time and attention to it to ensure that all of those steps are going to happen. And I think that's going to be the challenge for a lot of organizations at this point.
Absolutely, Mark. And I think, and again, I have a huge respect for you, Mark. And then I think people like you could bring this valuable conversation in the local government, that this is not a new laptop has come out and now I'm giving all a new computer and I'm giving it to my staff and rolling it out. And then staff will figure it out, log in once, and then this is a Windows operating system and it works. It's not like that. It's not that you have a new Microsoft Teams and you just upgrade and it works. The real work with all of these AI agents starts once it goes in production. It's traditionally how software development has happened, that once you go to UAT or production, that's it. Now this works based on the user story which was written. But in AI agent, an agentic environment, that is not true, because you have to continuously monitor the guardrails. Otherwise, these agents could go rogue. We have to ensure that these agents are being monitored closely. And believe it or not, that this is very important piece with people continue to miss that. Okay, I got this chatbot from this company and now this is it. Now it's going to work. And 2 months, 3 months later, I've lost track of what is the guardrail we put in, and it doesn't work like that. So you are 100% right that it is. That's why the fifth, believe it or not, the 5th P of our 5P framework is performance monitoring. So we have to continuously monitor the performance. It's the same thing. I mean, consider this a digital colleague. You are hiring a person, you're hiring a strong academic graduate as an intern, and this person needs to be monitored. There would be a review cycle, there would be a quarterly review, there would be annual review, and you follow through the entire cycle. And
yeah, Macho, I think it's a really good way of looking at it. And I think your comparison of it's not just bringing in a new laptop, what it may also be comparable to, and only the old guys in the room like Tugman and Shaw and myself and probably a couple others, is this is like when PCs first started showing up.
exactly right.
Right. So you're talking with something different and you have to work with your staff differently. It's not just an upgrade. It's bringing in a different approach to how we're doing government. And I think that's an important element to look at.
Yes, 100%. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And it's PC one-on-one all over again in an AI agentic format.
A question I have, Ignatiuz,
Sure.
is how do you discriminate or determine if I turn the LLM loose on the internet and, out on the wild west and let it answer questions, or if I restrict it to corporate data? How is the decision made as to which data set it should be used for this particular, capability?
Yeah. So if you saw, remember, John, we had this slide where you confine the data to a specific data source.
Mhm.
And you can look up like IGNA is being deployed to, I think, 8 or 9 towns now, and we continues to make progress in New Jersey. And you ask some specific questions which are not about that town. For example, in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, there was a short-term rental situation, and the person asked about very, very out of the box question, which is not part of the jurisdiction from a town. The chat did not answer because we have put those guardrails. Now, if you change the context of the question and you are trying to play around with this, where how to find a large, when is the trash pickup schedule, and can I recycle my batteries made out of energizer in this trash? I mean, then yes, then there would be. So we have to come up with those guardrails in the mix so that we are not responding any in the wrong way to the resident. So yes, there needs to be continuous monitoring of data being used. What data set? Initially, when we build this, we will confine it to data set. But now and log the large language model, so it's not going outside and globally and getting the data information from outside. And at the same time, continuously to monitor, because these models are getting upgraded also. And that's where my personal concern always is, that how, if somebody do not monitor it efficiently, what this agent could do.
Mhm. Okay.
Great, super. So, Priyal, I have few more slides here, and let me. I mean, I'm very passionate about this whole topic. I can, if you want, I can talk for the rest of the day also, but I just want to keep it concise here. And so, NACO has released this roadmap for how counties, and I'm just giving example of counties. The similar way we have some of the agencies also working on this, and where and it 5P framework. I designed this like late last year, and this is coming in maybe May or June timeframe of this year when NACO released this. But it makes so much sense that this is also very similar roadmap, and lot of local government, and we met few big counties yesterday, and they fall short in terms of scaling, and when I would share that the companies they work with, I mean, it was surprising. But and then what NACO has mentioned also, that you have to build a strategy for management. It's a change management thing. Again, it's as Mark also mentioned about it, that this is again, this is not like a new laptop upgrade. This is a change management. This is the people who should be involved. We have to understand that this AI we are building for us, so us should be involved. So the humans should be involved in that process. So building a strategy for management is important. Identifying and conducting assessments, what is the right, defining the purpose. So the purpose is key. If purpose is to deploy this agent and save X dollars, it's not going to help. If the purpose is to bring efficiency and define the correct roadmap, then yes, it will work. And eventually you will see an ROI coming out as well. If purpose is to serve constituents better, if purpose is to save on tax dollars by not getting doing this repetitive mundane task, then this will help. So we have to define that the conducting assessment and defining the purpose is key, and choose key vendors and establish partnerships. It doesn't matter. I mean, again, with all due respect, with all the large firms, big logos, billion-dollar companies, I mean, yes, there is assurance when these companies walks in. But at the same time, you have to understand that what happened with why PC journey happened, why uh, where is Nokia phones now? There is a lot we can see back and see what has happened in the telecom history, what has happened in PC, what happened in mobile phones. Something similar is happening now. There would be other different new level of companies who will mushroom and come out of this. What a lot of Apple did back in the days. They were, why Apple designing phone? Why couldn't AT&T do design the phone? So we have to think from that perspective also. Choosing a vendor is very important. And again, conducting proof of concept. So this is where I talked about pilot. Building a pilot. You cannot deploy a production application with these AI agents. You cannot just roll out a laptop thinking this is similar thing. So, and then moving the pilot phase to the production. But before that, you have to measure the impact. You have to define the playbook. impact needs to be measured, defining the playbook, making sure that there is a scalability quotient into this, and again, do the devil's advocate work also. And we have some workshop which we performed where we just asked that we don't want to hear anything positive about this agent. Let's talk all negative about these agents. What could go wrong? So there in the room there needs to be some devil's advocate, so that we can actually put together a list of all the cons which can happen. Pros, we all know, we all have seen these outcome of these agents, but what could go wrong? And what John earlier you mentioned about that, yeah, somebody is asking a different question, which a county chatbot should not be answering. So what could go wrong? And this is not just chatbot. Also, now we're talking about these autonomous agents who are doing a meaningful work for you. So building that, and then yes, implement it is the last step here. And for me, this is where you implement and you monitor the performance and continue to monitor performance. So now the humans who are saving time on doing the repetitive task would have a task based on our frontier government slide to monitor these agents. So you are still, so they're not losing job. You are still doing the job, but instead of doing the repetitive task, you are enhancing your agent or colleagues, or you are training your digital colleagues. Any questions? I think. So yeah, and these are some 5 category for use cases in county. I'm just referring to county government because NACO has released this, and this is very powerful. Some of these use cases make so much more sense. Public service, resident engagement, everybody talking about this, and we started our conversation today also with the chatbots. And then, but the real value brings when you start doing these workflows, when you start putting together these agents into doing some autonomous tasks. So I have put together this a slide where we have specific Igna agents which can fit into these different use cases. So building code, we saw a quick demo there, how it can help with financial treasury, how can it help with tax assessor, and some of the towns and has shared some very positive feedback. And Amanda also mentioned about this, that how one of the towns we are working with, and they saved like 40% of time. But again, then they had some frame of mind that how much time is being spent currently. We are working with some towns and counties where they don't even know that how much time is spent currently. We know that, okay, these 3 people are working on this, but we don't know how much time is being spent on this specific task. So you have to measure your current cost first, and to understand, then you can build an ROI on top. So yeah, some of the use cases, and we jump to the Igna slide. And sorry, I'm going all over the place because yeah, it's very conversational today, so it's great. Yeah. So so we talked about multiple agents. Just to give a quick rundown, these are about 10 agents which we have in production in some shape or form. Igna Chat, we saw. Igna Voice is one of the town where the older demographics live, and they do not want to have this computer-based or smartphone-based chatbots. So we have a voice number where you can dial in the number and you can talk, and this agent won't ask you for to pick the language. However, you start, and this agent will respond back in the same language. So I can talk to this agent in Spanish. In the next sentence, I can talk to this agent in English, and this agent will respond back to me in the same language. Igna Notify, Igna Insight, we saw how financial surveillance and other agents are working. This is part of Igna Insight. Igna Permit, we saw for the construction application. And Igna Secure is where you can do vulnerability scanning. It is case management to resolve. And this case management actually connects with your Salesforce if you're using it for 311, and then create a case there. And then now constituents and businesses can actually get a proactive update on the case. So many of these agents are in production, and if there is a interest, I could give you a specific demos there. Igna One hasn't gone any production deployment yet. That is more of a concept. We believe that there would be one agent, Igna One, we're calling it, which is going to be a ambassador of the county, ambassador of the town, which would have access to all underlying applications, 200 years of data. You can talk about anything, block and lot, what information this specific block and lot had, or this road construction, everything. I mean, so this is the kind of more of a concept right now, but there is no IGNA one deployed, but everything else is in some shape or form deployed in some town or county.
Matsu,
that
we have
being said,
another
yes.
question.
Yeah, this
From
is,
Mark Pfeiffer.
yeah,
Yes, sure.
surprise. I want, you really hit on a point there where you talked about, you're dealing with a town with a lot of seniors. It's
Yes.
also important to raise that the decision makers in the town or county need to think about the other groups that may be affected, such as folks affected by the digital divide that may not have easy access to internet or high speed broadband. People who are speaking different languages, and I know, fortunately, language becomes an easy solution when we're dealing with AI. But these are features and aspects that you want to be able to think about, and also think about people who have visual or hearing disabilities as well. We need to make sure that we are including everybody when we're deploying solutions to help your communities.
Wouldn't that come under our ADA requirement?
ADA,
Mark?
yes,
Oh,
I was about to say.
It's gonna be part ADA, but it's also people that are income related and language related.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So Mark, we are doing like a ADA compliance on these agents and ensuring that we receive ADA compliance. But you are right. I think that is a very good point to consider. And we did talk about ADA. We did not talk about other aspect of it. So yeah, maybe during the leak, that is one topic we to talk about.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm really looking forward to meeting you here.
All right. Yep. I'll be there. I'll put in a cheap plug. I'm doing a session with Mike, I guess Mike Stanzelis is going to be moderating it. We're doing a thing on tech budgeting, purchasing, things like that. But I have a feeling we're going to really delve into AI type issues as part of that. And that's Thursday morning at 10:45.
Oh, great. Yes, I'll be there for sure. Yep. Awesome.
Mark, I think that also plays into part of our 5P framework, which is purpose. Nobody knows your residents better than you guys do. And this isn't just a plug and play. Like, this will be built for your residents and your people, and there will be intention and purpose behind that. So we'll lean heavily on your knowledge of what your community needs and how we can address those solutions for them.
Yes, yeah, that is great. Super. Yeah, so with that being said, I know we went a little over on this last slide as we're talking about leak. So, and Dana, I think brought this as well, but again, like, thank you so much for your time today. And we would be at the league in a few weeks, and we are hosting this cocktail and connection hour. And please scan the QR code, and would love to chat more, and or maybe just have a few drinks in a relaxed setting, and don't talk about AI at all. Yes. So
yeah, I don't want to misquote you, Matsu, but I see that Ignatiuz, in partnership with Insight, will provide a complimentary AI assessment to counties, municipalities, or towns.
yes, that
Is
is
that
correct.
okay.
John.
I didn't
Yes.
want to take any money out of your pocket and say it
No,
was
John. That is correct.
complimentary. Okay.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, I
Okay.
think, yeah, we started this conversation back in April, I believe. Yeah, so we still continue to on this path. So yeah, absolutely, John.
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, Insight or Ignatiuz, if you want to reach out to them, they'll provide a complimentary assessment for you of your AI readiness. And I would, suggest you take advantage of that. It should help. We didn't do that here in Morris County because we know better than anybody what we should do. But in any case,
Yeah.
we probably should have done that. hindsight is 20/20, as they say.
But I mean, John, it's never too late. We
Okay,
could always
no,
help. Yes.
I understand that,
Yeah.
and I may take you up on that offer.
Sure. Absolutely, John. Yes. I would love
Okay.
to that. Yes.
Okay,
Awesome.
and
Great.
data too, and insight.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
All
Awesome.
right.
Super. Yeah.
All
That's
right.
great.
I
This was
want to
great.
thank you, Himanshu,
Yes.
for
Thank you. Thank you,
a,
everyone.
a good, timely presentation on AI. And again, audience, I would recommend you take advantage of that complimentary assessment. It will help. If you go it alone, you may be successful, but it can't hurt to get others that have experience in the field get their advice.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And John, and join us on the 19th. Come have a drink with us, have some food, and really just, it's always
I
nice
don't
to,
drink anymore, Dana.
well, you could have a water, you could have a
Yes.
soda. It doesn't have to,
bad
it doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
it could be a
It's bad for
mocktail.
my health.
I hear you. Listen, I'm not a big drinker either, but we could have a soda. And it's always just nice to meet in person.
Yes.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yes.
Sure.
And we're all going to be down there anyway. We might as well get
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. And
Well,
then
everybody could go to Carmine's.
yes, Carmine.
We'll be
yes.
there.
And yeah. So
Okay.
the plan is Dana, and if nobody rings, then Dana and I would perform a special dance for you all.
One quick plug, in addition to
I
Mark
might have to
Walker,
drink.
Mark and I will be doing a panel at 10:45. I'm also
Yes.
doing a panel at 9 Thursday morning on AI and governance in this new AI era. Got the Chief Innovation Officer for the state of New Jersey and the Chief Innovation Officer for S&P Global, and Nicole Swan from PSE&G, who's the head of government affairs, because the whole power or lack thereof is impacting New Jersey's inability to implement more data centers, which of course are behind all of this. So hope to see you at 9 also, all these
Yes.
plugs, Thursday
That'd be
morning.
great.
Yeah, don't miss the Thursday 9 o'clock. I think Thursday 9 to 11 we have to be in that panel room
There you
for
go.
both the sessions. Yes,
Excellent.
awesome.
Thank you,
Great.
everyone. We appreciate
Super.
you.
Thank you everyone. Have a good day.
And
Yep,
thank you all as well.
Thank you, John. Yes,
All
thank
right,
you everyone.
thanks.
Bye bye. Have a good day.